Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 8 advanced writing English lesson on nouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, doing grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of nouns. All right. So our chapter is it's nouns. Our subject is English Language Arts. We're doing grade 8 advanced writing. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on is to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives, and to form and use plurals. So we're going to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives, and we're going to form and use plurals. All right. So when it comes to nouns and identifying plurals, possessives, whether it's singular or plurals, right? A possessive noun, it shows either who or what owns something or has something. And when a noun is singular, all we do is we add an apostrophe as well as s to form the singular possessive noun. And before we even go to possessive nouns, right? A noun, firstly, it names a person, a place, an animal, a thing, right? And if we want to either show plural nouns, then what we usually do is we just add an s to show the plural noun or the plural form of that noun. And then we have a possessive noun, right? Which we started with now. And a possessive noun, it shows who owns something or what has something. So which means that if I own something, then I can say it is Nadine's because it's something that belongs to me. And when we have a noun that is singular, right? Then all we do is we add an apostrophe and an S. So it comes almost like a little comma thingy on top and an S to form the singular pronoun possessive noun. All right. And if we look at an example, it says Matt. If something belongs to Matt, let's say if the gloves belongs to Matt, then we can say, you see, it's just the gloves belongs to Matt. But now, if we want to show the possessive noun, then we can say it is Matt's glove. So we write Matt's name, Matt. We add this where we say it's an apostrophe and an S, Matt's glove. So you basically keep your name. All you do is you add an apostrophe and an S to show the position, to show that this is what I own, this is what is mine, this belongs to me. All right. If we also look at another example of the bird, remember it's not just a person, it can even be an animal, right? That owns something, possesses something. Like, for example, the wings. If we want to talk about the wings of the bird, and then we can say the bird's wings, meaning there we have bird, we add an apostrophe and an S, wings. So the bird's wings. All right. And when a noun is plural, so this is basically when a noun is positive, so which means that you keep the name, right? All you do is you add an apostrophe and an S to that name, to the thing's name, in order to show that that is what somebody or something owns, or what you have, or what belongs to you. But now, when a noun is plural, right, and it ends in an S, let's say, for example, a noun is plural and it ends with an S, like boys or girls, right? Then all we do is we just add an apostrophe, only an apostrophe, at the end of that word to form the plural possessive noun. For example, if we want to say the girls, right? But now the girls is makeup or the girls is toys. And then we're going to say the girls is, we leave girls. Then all we do is we add an apostrophe at the end of that word. So the girls is toys. And that basically shows the plural form of that noun, right? And when a noun is plural and does not end in an s, all we do is we just add an apostrophe and an s to form a plural possessive noun. All right. So if look at this one, yeah, this is also plural, right? This is also plural, but the word does not end with an s, right? So which means that we still add an apostrophe and an s. But if the word is plural and already ends with an s, then we just add an apostrophe to that word. All right. But keeping in mind, a possessive noun, it basically shows who or what owns something or has something. It shows what belongs to who, shows who owns something, right? Whether it is the smallest of things, whether it is a pencil, it is my pencil. I'm the owner of the pencil. Whether it is literally the smallest thing, it is yours, it's your possession, right? So now we're going to a+students.ca. All right. So we are now on a+students.ca, and we are still going to identify plurals, singular possessive, and plural possessives. But now you need to keep in mind, right? You need to keep in mind that there's a difference between plurals and plural possessives, right? Because a plural noun is where we basically add an s to that specific word to show that there's more than one. But a plural possessive, it shows who owns or who has something, and it ends with an apostrophe and an s, right? So that is basically the difference. So you need to keep in mind plurals, it is showing that there's more than one. All we do is we add an s to that word, whereas the possessions or the possessive nouns, it shows that I own something or I have something. Doesn't show that there's more than one. All right. And we already went over what possessive nouns are, how to identify possessive nouns, right? When to add our apostrophes. And like I say, if it is just plural, then all we do is we add an S. We don't add an apostrophe. All right. If we look at this activity over here, we're going to say what is the word that is in bold, right? Or we're going to say, what does it mean? If we're even going to say if it's an apostrophe, I'm sorry, if it's possessive noun, whether it's singular or plural possessive, or if it's just a plural noun, right? That is what we are going to say. All right. It says, what is the word in bold? This word, an astronomus. So, oh, an astronomer. An astronomer's career usually begins with a teaching or research position at the university or college. So, an astronomer. And now, if we look at that, an astronomers, is this a plural noun? Is it a singular possessive or is it a plural possessive? All right. And if we look at that, right, an astronomer's career usually begins with teaching. And we can say, especially since there's an apostrophe and an S, we can say this is a singular possessive noun, right? It's a singular possessive noun. The author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and wading through creeks in rural Oregon. These experiences are brought to life in her stories. So, an author's childhood is that a singular possessive, plural noun, or plural possessive? Author's childhood. So, an author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and wading through creeks in rural Oregon. These experiences are brought to life in her stories. Author, the authors. Is that a singular possessive, a plural possessive, or is it just a plural noun? Authors. And if we were to see that the author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, we can say this is a singular possessive noun. So, singular possessive noun. All right. What is the word in bold? It says the president carefully considered the board members' suggestions before she made her final decision. The president carefully considered the board members' decision before she made her final decision. Members, is that a plural noun, singular possessive, or plural possessive? All right. So if we look at that word members, this word members, right? It means that it is a plural possessive, right? And the reason why it's a plural possessive noun is because he is speaking or she is speaking to more than one person that is at the meeting, that is on, let's say, on the board of secretaries or generals, or but they are board member, one of the board members. But board members, it means that it is more than one person that is making decisions, right? All right. So now we're going to our test where we are going to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives. All right. It says, what is the word in bold? It says, fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. Fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. All right. It says, fortunately, there were no homes or other buildings in the tornado's path. Is this a plural noun, option one, or a singular possessive noun, option two? Which one is correct? All right. So, tornado's path, we can say it's a singular possessive noun because it's referring to one tornado. Yes, well done. The second one is correct. Ancient Egyptians built tall, four sided monuments called obelisks, whose tops were pointed and sometimes covered in gold and silver. Monuments. Is that a singular possessive noun, option one, or is it a plural noun, option two? Which one is correct? So monuments, is that option one, singular possessive noun, or option two, a plural noun? Monuments. And if we were to choose the correct option, monuments, we can say it is a plural noun. There's no apostrophe, just an S to show that there's more than one monument, right? All right. The next one says, it wasn't long after Nick sat with his sandwich that two wasps started circling him. So it wasn't long after Nick sat down with his sandwich that two wasps started circling him. So wasps, is that a plural possessive noun or is it just a plural noun? Wasps. So wasps, is that a plural possessive noun? Option one. Or is it just a plural noun? Option two. And if we were to choose a correct one, we will say this is a plural noun because it's not one wasp, it's more than one wasp. So it's a plural noun. Yes. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, you're not even the option yet. We now, number one, not number one. What is the word in bold? It says in 2001, Eric Weinmeier became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Weinmeier's stories inspired young adventurers around the world. So if you look at that word or his surname, Weinheimers, is that a singular possessive noun or is that a plural noun? Weinheimers. So his story. Weinheimers. Is that option one, it's a singular possessive noun, or option two, it is a plural noun? All right. And if we were to choose the correct answer, we will say it's option one because it is his story, right? And we aspire to want to be like him. It's his story, his adventure, right? So well done. Yes, the first one is correct. The author's childhood was spent chasing butterflies, climbing trees, and wading through creeks in rural Oregon. These experiences are brought to life in her stories. So the word authors, is that a singular possessive noun or is that a plural possessive noun? Authors. So the author's childhood. So the authors, is that a singular possessive or a plural possessive? And if we were to choose the correct one, we will say the author's childhood is a singular possessive noun. It's the author's, it's that person's. All right. Jacob has tried several chicken pot pie recipes, but he has yet to find one that meets his standards. So, recipes, is that option one a plural possessive noun, or option two, it is just a plural noun? Recipes. All right. And recipes, if we were to say if that is either a plural possessive or a plural noun, because it's more than one recipe, we will say it is a plural noun. All right. All right. So now we're going to form and use plurals. Remember, plurals refer to it being more than one, right? That is a plural. It's more than one. So basically, with plurals, we either just add an S, E, S, I, E, S, depending on our specific word, right? And in order for us to form plurals with most of our noun, we mainly just add an S to show that it is not one, but more than one, then we add an S. All right. So we said that with most of our plurals, we basically just add, and most of our nouns, we just add an S to show that it is a plural, right? So for example, boy, one boy, two or more boys. One tree, two or more trees. We just add an S. But if a noun ends either with an S, CH, SH, X, or Z, then we have to add an ES to make it plural. For example, one bush, two bushes, or one box. We can say two boxes. One church, two or more churches, and so on. But all we did was we added whatever the rule states we need to add, right? And if a noun ends in a consonant Y, then drop the Y and we add an IES to make it plural. For example, family. All right. So now we mainly, I think what is more important is the fact that we would mainly add an S to that specific word to show the plural. All right. Then we also have wolf, right? Let's say, for example, a word ends, let's say, for like wolf, but now the pronunciation of the word changes when we talk about it or when we pronounce it in a plural form, and then we need to add VES. So wolf, wolves, wolf, wolves. It's the same like if you look here with chef, right? The way we say the word does not change. So it still has its soft sound shifts. So all we do is we add an S here. But if the word has more of a V sound when we show the plural sound, then we add VES instead of just an S. All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to form and use plurals. All right. We need to complete the sentence with the correct plural. Harsh household cleaning supply can tarnish rings made from silver, but platinum rings, which look like silver to the untrained eye, are impervious to damage or discoloration from bleach or detergents. So, supply, what is the plural of supply? Is it option one, supply, option two, supplies, or option three, supplies? Which one is correct? And if we were to choose the correct option, right? And then we'll say it supplies, because remember we dropped the Y and we add IES. The next one says Charles J. Van der Poel, who invented electric trolley in 1885, invested much of his time and money experimenting with electricity. In 1878, he created a lightning system for an evening circus performance. So now we need to complete the sentence with the correct plural. Is it trolley, like the plural form? Trolley, option one, or option two and three? Trolleys. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, option basically 2 and 3 is correct because it's trolleys, it's more than one. All right, let's do the last one. It says Rebecca, who is a dedicated environmentalist, donates money annually to several organizations concerned with the protection of endangered species. So, organization, the plural form of organization, is it option one, organization, or option two and three, organizations? All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, we will choose option three and four that shows the plural of organization. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson. We said that singular possessives, actually possessives or possessive nouns, it shows where someone either owns something or has something. So singular possessive shows that one person owns something or has something, but plural possessive shows more than one person having something or owning something. There's a major difference also between plural possessives and plural nouns. With plural possessives as well as singular possessives, we add an apostrophe and an s to show that this is what the person has or owns, whereas with plurals, we just add an s to show that there's more than one of that thing or person that we are making mention of. All right, so this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, grade 8s, for joining the class, and I really hope that you are going to have a good evening further. So, till next time, goodbye.